The bank destroys billions of old banknotes every day, but this scene happened to be witnessed by Lisa. A crazy and deadly idea took root in her mind. She hurried to the supermarket and bought a padlock identical to the one on the bank's cash box. As office hours began, Lisa feigned composure and pretended to wipe the cash box. She took the opportunity to block the camera's view with her body and swiftly swapped the padlock. Although the security personnel kept their eyes glued to the surveillance screens, they didn't notice anything unusual. She nervously jotted down the cash box's number. She deliberately pushed the garbage truck slowly, quietly waiting for her accomplice to arrive. Just then, Annie, in charge of escorting the cash box, walked towards her. Lisa took the chance to whisper the number of the box she had just changed the lock on to Annie. By this point, the cash box was already filled with old banknotes awaiting destruction, and the unsuspecting security guards locked it as usual, not knowing that the lock had long been swapped by Lisa. Annie, keeping a straight face, pushed the cash box, ready to transport it to another floor. While waiting for the elevator, she discreetly pulled out the pre-prepared key and easily unlocked the box. She then carefully opened the cash box and swiftly stuffed the old banknotes inside into the garbage can behind her. Since the cash box happened to block the camera's view, security didn't notice Annie carrying out this sinister theft. To avoid getting caught, Annie didn't dare take out too many banknotes at once. She quickly closed and locked the cash box, then hurried to the floor with the shredding machine. Annie signaled with her eyes to her accomplice, Julie, that the lock on that cash box had been replaced. Julie instantly grasped her meaning and pretended to go to the restroom. At this moment, Lisa also entered the restroom. Just as she tossed the key to Julie, Lisa accidentally dropped it into the drain. The two immediately panicked, knowing that if they didn't have the key, the lock on the armored truck couldn't be opened, and the plan would inevitably be exposed. Right then, Julie suddenly had a brainwave. Remembering that Annie had a spare key, she hurriedly made a phone call, urgently asking Annie to bring the key, but it would take at least 15 minutes. Anxiety surged in Annie's heart like a tide. In a flash of inspiration, she decided to hide the key inside a piece of chewing gum and stick it in the elevator. Just as she was about to open the elevator, she discovered two colleagues were inside. If they found the key, she would definitely be arrested. Annie quickly focused, pretending to argue with her colleagues, yelling angrily. The next second, she threw the gum onto the elevator. Meanwhile, Lisa had already reached the designated floor. When the elevator doors opened, Lisa swiftly rushed in and took the gum without hesitation. She reminded the two strangers not to litter gum, but they just stared blankly, completely unaware of anything unusual. Lisa quickly extracted the key from the gum, her heart pounding with tension, and rapidly headed towards Julie. At this point, the security personnel had almost noticed Julie's abnormal behavior. Lisa hurriedly called security. As soon as the door opened, she swiftly tossed the key to Julie. Julie finally successfully swapped back the original padlock. They thought everything was seamless, but little did they know, the attentive guard had long sensed that something was amiss. Please stay tuned for part 2.